I was the wife that supported my partner in his dreams. I was the mother that attended all the school events while also being part-time Uber driver for the kids' after-school schedule. I was the daughter that called my parents often to check on their health and help with life logistics. I was the dentist that would leave work early to rush home to be with the kids and handle the household duties. But why was all of that my job? Why was it normal for my husband to put his career as number one on his checklist while I placed mine as second to his and supported his ambitions? So that he could live out his dreams, I dimmed mine, because it's what I saw every woman around me do. I was living a life where I always put the children and my husband first and placed my dreams and wants as the last priority. There was no paycheck for the most important job of raising a family. I sacrificed myself for the sake of everyone because I love them. I couldn't complain about my life. I had 3 healthy children and a husband who was trying his best to provide for the family. So I simply waited for the one day that it would be my turn. Maybe after the kids go to college, maybe after I retire, maybe after, maybe after, maybe after. These were the words written 4 years ago in a journal by a woman who placed herself on the very bottom of the checklist of life and was angry about it. I could feel her frustration and resentment. I could feel her pain and sadness. That woman was me. I blamed people and situations for my life experiences, but never took a second look at how I had created it. How could I expect the love I was looking for if I didn't know how to truly love myself? And this is where I had to pause and slow down and reflect on how I got here. There's a checklist of what's considered a successful life, and by the age of 40, I had put a check mark next to every one of them. I had a professional career as a periodontist, married my college sweetheart, a neurologist, had 3 healthy children, 2 girls and a boy, a beautiful home with the white picket fence, financial security, and the many luxuries of life. I had accomplished everything I thought I wanted and was living a blessed life, but I was ashamed to admit that I wasn't happy, that I felt so unfulfilled. And in that shame, I struggled in silence. I put a smile on my face while playing the role of Wonder Woman, but on the inside, I was hiding a dark truth. I wanted out. I wanted to shed every female role and the life that I was supposed to live. I had so many questions in my head about my life, love, and marriage, but I couldn't silence the noise to hear the answers. Who am I when I'm not being someone's mother, wife, or daughter? How do I tell my husband that I love him like a friend, but I have no romantic feelings for him? Do I stay in the relationship because it's been 25 years? Because we have 3 children? Because it's the norm? Because everyone loves us together? Because there's financial security? Because of the fear of being alone, the fear of judgment, and the fear of not knowing what the future holds? Can I say that I'm grateful for the journey, but we have outgrown each other and it's time to move on? But how do I tell my 3 children that the only life they have ever known was never going to be the same? I was paralyzed in the fear of making a decision that would not only affect me, but everyone that I loved so much. How many times have you been on an adventure trip and watched the daring ones jump off the edge of a cliff and into a huge body of water? You witness their fear turn into smiles and then wonder, can I do that too? I stood at the edge of that cliff for many years, unable to make a decision and jump. I retreated back from the edge many times because even though I knew my marriage had come to a close, there was so much guilt in making myself a priority and choosing my happiness. What was everyone going to think? I knew that what felt good to me was not going to feel good to everyone else. So for the fear of hurting my family, that prevented me from taking that deep dive. But then there's that moment when you're on a plane and the flight attendants go over the safety instructions and they instruct you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on anyone else. And that's what I finally did for the first time in my life. I shed that heavy suit of armor, let go of the role of Wonder Woman, and I asked for help. I unknowingly carried so many unhealed wounds from childhood into my marriage. To heal the adult woman, I had to go back in time to heal the little girl first. The one who thought she was unlovable. The one who endured childhood trauma. The one who thought she was less than because she was raised in lower income housing, AKA the projects. The one who held on to grief following the death of her little brother. The one who feared speaking her truth because she stuttered. And the one who thought that her worth was based on playing a role because just being herself was never going to be good enough. I reached out to amazing spiritual teachers to help guide me through these dark spaces. That healing journey was not pretty. It took time, deep inner work, and a transformation of the mind, body, and soul. It took breaking societal norms and a million deaths to rebirth that woman that could finally make that long-awaited decision. I decided that the love that I had for myself was greater than the fear of judgment and guilt. I decided to choose gratitude and thank my partner for the life that we had. And then I powerfully stepped forward with much peace in my heart and finally made that long-awaited jump. It felt so freeing. I spread my wings, I felt so light, and I knew that I was now living my authentic life. But then came that moment when I hit that deep, dark body of water. It felt like a bomb had gone off, but I was the one who triggered it. The shrapnel was painful. I was disoriented. I didn't know which way was up or down. The effects of that explosion reached far beyond anything I ever could have imagined. My family, friends, relatives, they all felt the injuries. The tears, the hurt, the recovery process was excruciating. The pain they felt in not being included in my decision. The hurt that they felt because I never shared my struggles. And the concern they had about what was going to happen to the children was unbearable. But then the energy that it took for me to explain my feelings, defend my decision, and face the judgment of others was soul-crushing. Yes, I was the one that threw the bomb, but now I was the one that also needed saving. I didn't know how to explain to everyone that even though I was the one that made the decision, I was also in pain too. I was sad that the family life that I had dreamed of for so long was going to be no more. I was heartbroken that my loved ones were hurting because of my decision. I was scared that I didn't know what the future was going to look like. But what I did know was that even though it was the most difficult decision of my life, it was one that had to be made because living a lie was no longer an option. It took time for everyone to process what was happening and to decide whether they were ready to accept it. And in that, I spent a lot of time in solitude, saving as much energy for myself and my children to heal. The only thing that mattered was creating a new foundation for a new family dynamic. And in that fire that bomb had created, here are the words of a 15-year-old daughter to her parents. Dear Mom and Dad, Today is a day to celebrate the both of you and how much love you spread throughout this family. If I look back at all the years you've raised me, I wouldn't trade any of those moments for the world. Mom, you never failed to make me happy, and I always know I can count on you. You are so brave, powerful, independent, and an inspirational woman that I aspire to be. You are an outstanding mother, and the bond that we have created this year is unbreakable. Dad, thank you for always being there for whatever I need, for being my handyman, of course, but for also being my best friend. I am grateful to have you as a guide in my life. Despite the changes that will be occurring soon, I need you both to know how blessed I am to have the two most loving parents in the world. I'm so proud to call you my parents, but I'm even more proud to know how courageous you both are to make such a big change in our lives. Yes, it's upsetting that the two people who have been by my side since day one aren't going to be there every second, but I am certain it will create an environment where you both will meet people who will love you as much as I do. This is only step one. There's an entire staircase in life to go. So many more adventures and journeys await the both of you, and I'm so thankful to grow up besides the two people I love the most. Even though many things are changing, you both will always be my personal chauffeurs. Love you to the moon and back. I don't have all the answers, but I do know this. It takes a deep commitment for two people to heal, to peacefully co-parent, and to honor each other with respect. It's not selfish to live the life you want. You are more than the roles you play, and love is the greatest gift of this lifetime. Thank you.